Well, we're going to look at the French newspapers now. It's all about tax, money. That's what it's about with Olivia today. Yesterday we heard about the tax hikes and spending cuts that François Hollande's got in store for France. The media, they kind of had time to digest it now. How's it all been received?
Well, Le Figaro is headlining on this, as are most of the French dailies. They're asking the question that we, as taxpayers, want to know: who will pay for this? They seem to think it's
probably
not going to be just the super rich, the 75% of people who earn over €1 million per month. 15 million French households, and that's normal working class households, will be affected by cuts on their public services and also income tax reform. There's an editorial on the front page actually criticising Hollande somewhat, saying that his announcement on Sunday night saying that he's saving the French economy wasn't really transparent enough, and it wasn't very fair, because he says he's making all these savings but he's not really being very clear about where. He's taxing very rich people 75%, but he's also affecting the middle class, and he says he's making these huge budget cuts in 2013 in ministerial budgets for public spending, but in fact that's just after he'll be spending a lot of money this autumn employing a whole new raft of employees in the police, in education, and also a pension reform that's going to cost him a bit of money. So they say he's not been totally clear about what he's doing in this tax reform. Le Parisien, the local paper, asks a very similar question. They said, where will the state find these 10 billion euros? And inside, actually, their editorial doesn't ask so much the question where, but can they? They say that trying to shave 10 billion euros from ministerial budgets, which then translates into local spending cuts, is nigh on impossible. Sarkozy, Sarkozy tried to do it over 5 years. He only saved negligible savings, so this effort to try and save the pennies and get these 10 billion euros together might fail anyway. And they also mention, which I found quite interesting, that France has a real culture of public service and civil servants, and they'll be very reluctant to go through with these spending cuts, and also the unions will be behind them. That's something, this kind of cynicism is echoed by Les Echos, the business daily. They're very sceptical about austerity measures and tax hikes, because they say this will end up really scaring off business from France, and it could increase unemployment and eventually lead to recession. So it's too cautious a measure, and France is not really looking at growth, which is what they should be looking at. That is again repeated in L'Humanité, the communist paper, by Joseph Stiglitz, the Nobel-winning economist, who says austerity is a disaster, and he says wherever you apply it in any European country, it is just too strict, it's catastrophic, and will drive Europe into the ground eventually. Okay,
perhaps not surprising on L'Humanité. Anyway, next up, of course, still talking about the new socialist government. I think it's going to be a big feature of the French press review. New social issues. Same-sex marriage could be on the horizon.
Yes, the Catholic paper La Croix has same-sex marriage, the government draft law. That's what they've decided is the big story of the day. They interviewed Christiane Taubira, the Minister of Justice, about her plans to legalise same-sex marriage. And they really challenged her on, why she feels it's necessary. It's all in the name of equality. All citizens should be allowed to do the same thing. Their editorial is, of course, a little sceptical, saying their excuse is that the public debate has not been open long enough. François Hollande announced it in July. It's going through in the autumn. We didn't have time to talk about whether we really wanted it.
And a bit of humble pie in Libération. They're trying to apologise, kind of, to Bernard Arnault, aren't they?
Libération is saying, Bernard, if you come back, we'll forget all about it. Please come back, I think is what they're saying. Yeah. Yesterday they told him to get lost, you rich idiot, because of his plans to perhaps gain Belgian citizenship to avoid a huge tax bill as the 4th richest man in the world. Libération has written, they came in for a lot of criticism. They've written an editorial defending their very, very incendiary headline, saying, yes, we insulted him as a person, but he insulted French taxpayers by suggesting that he wasn't going to contribute to his fiscal responsibilities.
OK, strong words there from Libération. We shall see where that debate goes next. Olivia, thanks very much. Olivia Salazar-Wilsberg with the French papers on France 24.